What caused Terra USD stablecoin to lose its peg? And how did Luna, a coin with a market cap of almost $41 billion just a few months ago, collapse to zero? There are conflicting views swirling around the internet, which we will investigate today. So let us reveal the entire story and explain everything to you from beginning to end. But first, hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Capital Alpha, where we talk about cryptocurrency latest news and all you need to know in the world of finances. We're back with another incredible video, so please subscribe to the channel and enable alerts to be notified of each new upload. Without further ado, let's get started with an amazing story. Terraform Labs was founded by Do Kwon, a Stanford grad and former Microsoft software engineer, and Daniel Shin. After graduation from the Wharton School of Economics, they spent time consulting for McKinsey. In high school, Daniel was on the same Model UN team as Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev, who was also one of Terraform's early seed investors. These guys look like the guys you trust with your money, right? Am I right? After their initial coin offering for Terra Luna in 2018, the team spent 2 years building a payment app called Chai. After that, Daniel stepped away from Terraform to run that side of the business. They expanded their lunatic community by releasing Terra KRT, which was pegged to the Korean won, Terra MNT, pegged to Mongolian currency, and Terra USD, pegged to the US dollar. Touting the ease of operability to transfer funds between nations, Terra's stablecoin and its payment app Chai were quickly adopted by Korea's top 14 banks, the #1 convenience store, and the largest game developer, just to name a few. According to the Terra website, over 2 million users spend over $1 billion using Terra KRT. And in the great US of A, millions of users were soon using Terra USD to invest in synthetic assets on Mirror Protocol and earning an insanely high yield of 20% on Anchor Protocol when they launched in 2021 respectively. Terra stablecoins are all algorithmic. When Terra Luna is exchanged for UST, some piece of the Luna is burned, decreasing Luna supply. If UST goes below $1, Luna holders are allegedly incentivized to exchange UST for $1 worth of Luna, thus making a profit. Of course, this is premised on the notion that Luna has long-term worth. On this, more to come later. As the Terraform started to attract more and more investment money, the hype became obvious. After the May 2021 collapse, the price of Luna was around $5. Over the next year, it jumped over $116. The lunatic community was going crazy, making ever higher price predictions. Terraform committed to a 5-year, $40 million contract with the Washington Nationals, allowing fans to make purchases using UST. Galaxy Digital's Mike Novogratz even got a Luna tattoo on his arm. Millions of dollars weren't enough for Mike. He had to put some sweat equity into the project as well. While Diamond Hands tweeted that they would never sell their Luna bags, some were concerned that Terra's algorithmic stablecoins were not really stable. Several professionals from the crypto community have been Terrafield. Have you noticed what I did there? Concerning red flags in the ecosystem. First, the Anchor Protocol accounted for 2/3 of UST demand. Keep in mind that this is their in-house lending platform, and lending demand was far outstripping borrowing demand, indicating that many people wanted to lend out their UST and make those insane 20% profits. But not nearly as many wanted to borrow UST. There were fears that another borrowing protocol might deprive Anchor of liquidity, or that the reserves would be insufficient to protect the peg. And the reserves were not originally planned, guys. Terra added that after the fact, hinting that their previous ecosystem may not have been sufficient to defend the peg. That's not good. Many people were worried about what would happen if there was a Lunar Run, especially when Do Kwon devised an evil genius plan to someday hold $10 billion in Bitcoin reserves, claiming that the collapse of UST is akin to the failure of crypto itself. Basically, Do Kwon wanted to take all of the crypto hostages to support the UST peg, but rather than listening to these valid concerns, Do Kwon actively mocked anyone who doubted him, even though it was later concluded that Do Kwon had already tanked a failed stablecoin back in 2020. So really, he should have been asking for all the help he could get. Hence, we set the scene for you guys. At the end of March 2022, the Luna Foundation Guard begins, so he starts buying Bitcoin to fund the reserves to back UST. And on April 1st, Terraform announced a partnership with Frax Finance, creating a Curve stablecoin pool called 4Pool. This was Do Kwon's try to disrupt the DAI stablecoin by moving activity away from another Curve stablecoin pool called 3Pool. This is important because about a month ago, on the infamous day of March 8th, the Luna Foundation Guard moved $150 million worth of UST into 4Pool, thereby majorly decreasing the liquidity in 3Pool, leaving the vulnerability and leaving themselves open to attack. Meanwhile, an anonymous attacker, more on that later, had borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin from Gemini, something that of course Gemini has denied, despite the transaction being in their order books. But they were quietly swapping a quarter of that Bitcoin for UST. Many speculate that the attacker sold some of the borrowed Bitcoin to Do Kwon in exchange for UST, but this is not 100% confirmed. When the Luna Foundation Guard withdrew the liquidity, the attacker used a share of their billion-dollar UST holding to drain the curve liquidity, causing UST to depeg to around 0.972. Not completely depegged, but enough to rattle the community. The Luna Foundation Guard started selling their Bitcoin to defend the peg, and then the evil attacker sells the rest of their UST on Binance, causing everyone to panic and sell their remaining UST. The entire chain becomes crowded, and centralized exchanges suspend UST withdrawals. However, this simply escalates the panic, selling into a full-fledged bank run. But now, Bitcoin is down 25%, and the panic is becoming more intense. People are being defeated. UST loses its peg altogether, and Luna's swan collapses over a cliff, eventually falling to zero. Do Kwon finally makes a statement after days of silence, essentially revealing that UST has lost confidence and is dead. But he still believes there's a chance to rebuild the Luna community, and intends to reimburse Luna and UST holders. We're hoping he'll not compensate them with another Buzz algorithmic stablecoin. Some have claimed that it was Justin Sun, because he sent out a slightly suspicious tweet just a few days ago, but that doesn't make sense, given that he's creating his own algorithmic stablecoin. So why would he do something that could potentially delegitimize algorithmic stablecoins right before his launch? He wouldn't do that. Of course, it could have been a whale who did not support Do Kwon's wicked genius idea to hoard Bitcoin. But in my opinion, the only people vicious enough to bring down an entire blockchain ecosystem and harm the lives of millions of people are BlackRock and Citadel. Janet Fell and Yellen requested lawmakers on Thursday for a clear federal framework on stablecoins to mitigate risks. It was quite convenient timing. The Federal Reserve has been itching to regulate stables. They've already taken action against BlockFi and Celsius. In a week, the third largest stablecoin is sabotaged. Tether then experienced a little slump on Thursday. Nobody panicked. It very quickly regained its peg. Nothing to actually worry about there. However, it seems that many people are working behind the scenes to cause panic in the crypto community while making billions of dollars. They may be laughing now, but when people get tired of waiting and start turning up at their offices to find out what happened to their money, it won't be quite so amusing. Anyway, both Luna and UST prices have recovered slightly over the last week. By slightly, I mean Luna is basically a meme coin right now. It's nowhere near the all-time high, but Binance and FTX did relist Luna, and the hopium seems to be alive on Twitter. So do you think people are just playing with Luna's corpse to make a quick buck? Or could Luna recover? Who do you think attacked Luna and UST? Leave your comments below and tell us what you think about this crazy roller coaster over the last couple of weeks. That concludes today's video. Hope you like it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and enable alerts to be notified of new uploads. This is Capital Alpha, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye!